the rain hadn't stopped for hours. It fell gently at first, but now, in the stillness of the night, it whispered secrets against the window pane. I was sitting alone in a rented countryside cabin, deep in the woods, surrounded by silence, and a single glowing candle flickering beside me. I hadn't planned to stay the night. I was only passing through. But something made me stop. A strange pull. Across the gravel road, through the misted window, stood a house I'd never noticed on the drive-in. It was tall, oddly thin, and looked almost unfinished, like a sketch someone gave up on halfway. Its windows were completely dark, all except one, the attic window. A dim light flickered there, as though someone, or something, was watching. And then, just as I leaned in to get a closer look, the light went out. I froze. My breath caught in my chest. For a moment, I felt my heartbeat echo in my ears. And just as I turned to step back from the window, I saw it, a figure, in the attic window, standing perfectly still, watching me. I stumbled backward, my hand knocking over the candle. The flame died instantly, leaving me in total darkness. I didn't scream. I don't know why. Maybe because something inside me whispered not to. Instead, I reached for the matches with shaking fingers, but my hands were cold. Too cold. The kind of cold that doesn't come from the air, but from inside you. I lit the candle again. The flame wavered, casting long shadows across the wooden walls. The old cabin creaked around me. Maybe it was the wind, or maybe not. I turned back toward the window. Empty. The attic light was gone. The figure gone too. I told myself it was nothing, just a trick of the rain, the fog, the way the trees swayed. But then I noticed something else. The fog. It was inside now. A thin mist creeping along the wooden floorboards, and just beneath the sound of the rain, I heard footsteps. Not outside, not upstairs, but just behind me. Didn't turn around. Not at first. The footsteps were soft, but too deliberate, too human. They stopped just as suddenly as they began. I slowly turned my head, heart pounding so hard I could feel it in my throat. Nothing. The room behind me was empty. The candle's flame still danced weakly, its glow reaching just far enough to show the rocking chair in the corner, the coat hook by the door, the empty wooden floor. But then I heard it again. Not footsteps this time. Breathing. Low, uneven, like someone standing very close, too close. I spun around, faster now. Still, no one. But the mist was thicker. It curled around my ankles like smoke. And the candle. The flame flickered sideways, as if someone had walked right past it. Then the doorknob turned, very slowly. I stared, paralyzed, as the old brass knob creaked clockwise, just a little, then stopped. The door never opened. I reached for it, hand trembling, but before I could touch it, a knock, a single knock, from inside the room. My mind screamed, but my voice didn't follow. I backed away from the door as the candle flickered violently. Knock. Again, one solid knock from somewhere within the cabin, not the walls, not the roof. It came from beneath the floor. I stood there still, breath shallow. The old wooden boards beneath my feet suddenly felt thinner, fragile. I crouched and placed my hand on the floor. It was cold. Then, knock, knock, knock. This time, 3 sharp hits, underneath me. That's when I remembered the old cellar door I had seen when I first entered the cabin. Hidden beneath a rug, sealed with rusted iron hinges. I ran to the far side of the room and flung the rug aside. There it was. Dusty, old, uneven. The knocking had stopped. But now something worse replaced it. A whisper. Coming from under the cellar door. "Don't leave me here." I froze. The whisper hadn't been a trick of my mind. It was real, as if someone, something, beneath the floorboards was pleading. The voice wasn't threatening. Not yet. It sounded weak. Desperate. But the desperation made it worse. Because if something had been trapped under this house, who put it there? And why? I lit a second candle, knowing I'd need more light. I crouched near the cellar door. The iron hinges creaked as I reached for the handle. Dust flew upward when I yanked it open. A deep black void stared back at me. The air changed, colder, thicker. The flame of my candle pulled downward like it wanted to escape into the cellar. I hesitated, just for a breath. Then I climbed down. Each step groaned beneath me, and the darkness below swallowed me whole. As my feet hit the stone floor of the cellar, the scent of damp earth, old wood, and something metallic filled the air. My candle's light barely stretched beyond my arm. Then, from the corner, a whisper again, closer now. "Please, help!" The voice without a face. I turned toward the sound. There was no one, just shelves lined with dusty jars, broken crates, and a doll. It sat in the corner, porcelain, cracked and staring directly at me. It hadn't been there a moment ago. I stepped closer. Its eyes, dark and hollow, seemed to follow my every move. Then I noticed the streaks of something red on its dress, faded, but still there. "Who are you?" I whispered. I didn't expect an answer, but I got one. Not with words, with movement. Behind the doll, the wall shifted. A section of stone scraped backward, revealing a narrow passage dark as pitch. I stared, my pulse thudding in my ears. The whisper returned, not from the cellar now, but from inside the passage, and this time it said something different. "You came back." My hands trembled. I should have turned around. I should have climbed those stairs and left the cabin behind forever. But instead, I stepped into the dark. The narrow passage closed behind me as I took my third step. A grinding sound and then silence. I was sealed in. The air was stale and thick, as though it hadn't been disturbed in decades. My candle flickered violently, casting warped shadows on the stone walls that seemed to breathe with each movement. The corridor ahead sloped downward. Every few steps I'd see scratches on the walls, frantic claw marks. At first I thought they were animal tracks, but then I noticed patterns, letters, carved with bloodied fingertips. Names. So many names. Hannah, Joseph, Miriam, Isaac. And one name scratched deeper than the rest, Eleanor. The same name that was whispered. The same name from the journal I'd found in the attic. "Eleanor, are you here?" I whispered. Something whispered back, but not in words. A sob, a soft weeping, echoing from deeper down the corridor. I moved forward, candle shaking in my grip. Every breath I took felt borrowed, like I wasn't supposed to be down here. Like I'd stepped into someone else's grief, and it knew I was trespassing. The passage opened into a circular room. At the center was a wooden chair, and in the chair something sat. The truth beneath. It wasn't a ghost. It wasn't a person. It was a husk. A figure covered in fabric, head wrapped in torn lace, body bound in thick rope, and in its lap a single photograph of me, taken just days ago at the entrance of the forest. My blood turned to ice. Suddenly I understood. The whispers weren't calling for help. They were warning me about what this house really was, a trap that had been waiting. The weeping returned, louder now, and then, from the corners of the room, they emerged. Shadows in human form. Faces I'd never seen but somehow remembered. The names carved in the walls, the ones who had come before and never left. They reached for me, not to harm me, but to show me. Flashes filled my mind. The house wasn't haunted. It was hungry. Every few years it lured someone in, showed them just enough to stir curiosity, to hook their soul, and then fed on it. And now it was my turn. I fell to my knees, breathless, the candle extinguished in an instant. But just before the darkness took me, I heard a voice, Eleanor's voice, calm and close. "You saw the house in the window, didn't you? And now, you're part of the story."